All right, everyone. Welcome back to Sports Flow with BK and Speaks. This week, unfortunately, we will be recapping the San Francisco 49ers win over the Detroit Lions 34-31. NFC title game, a lot on the line, and the Lions just couldn't get it done. They came up short in the second half there after having that 24-7 lead. The turnover from Gibbs and the missed opportunities ended up killing us there in the second half.
Yeah, the turnovers and the missed opportunities were, what broke the camel's back on us and was the real difference maker and, was the deciding factor in San Francisco getting the dub and us getting the L. I mean, a hell of a season by the boys, but, we didn't finish off the game how we needed to, and I think that falls on the players more than coaching staff, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't execute well late, and I thought it was a hell of a year, too. It sucks to have it taken away from us like this because I thought we were the better team.
Yeah.
I thought we outplayed San Francisco. I thought top to bottom, we had a better roster and we were making the plays when we needed to. Sucks to lose this way.
Yeah, I thought not only were we the better team in the NFC, but I think Baltimore was the better team in the AFC. The better teams don't always win. The teams that make the least amount of mistakes and capitalize on those mistakes usually win, and that's what happened in both the games. And now we're on to next year, but let's get into covering this. We, like you said, big mistakes. Vildor having that ball bounce off his face mask.
Never seen anything like it.
Never seen anything like it. Only the Lions. And then Brandon Ayuk, makes that huge catch, which leads to a TD. That was what got it started.
Yeah, it hits off his face mask and it lands in Ayuk's lap. Ayuk ends up getting the touchdown on the next play after landing on the one.
Yep.
But just absolutely killer. You can't give up the big plays when you got the lead like we had. It was absolutely a brutal play. I completely swung the momentum there.
Yeah, it did. Sure did. Another momentum, swinger is, we come up with a huge interception with Rodrigo, coming in, when Barnes hurt his knee. A hell of a job every time he comes in. Kind of lost his starting rotation job, filled in at fullback for us, does an excellent job on special teams. And whenever he gets an opportunity on the defensive end, he always makes the most out of it, comes up with a nice pick, has a nice return, and then Deuce Johnson, decides to do a bonehead play and go after Debo because he was talking smack to him, before the year, and that killed us. We were on the 20, moves us back to the 45, 50, and that was a huge momentum shifter right there for us.
Yeah, I mean Rodriguez makes a huge play, and Gardner Johnson takes out off the field stuff on the field in a huge spot. Just couldn't have it. It was absolutely killer there. And then the other thing that, a lot of people are questioning here is, we had the two missed fourth down conversions when we were in field goal range on San Francisco's side. Obviously, Reynolds drops the one play on the 4th and 2. Goff threw a pretty difficult ball, but it was probably the only spot that Reynolds could get it. And Reynolds,
I love the pass.
Yeah, I mean, he had to try to thread it in there. It's a huge spot there, and unfortunately, it bounces off of Reynolds' sure hands. He's been a safety net all year. And we end up turning over the ball there, and then we turn it over later in the second half, too, on a deep pass to St. Brown that really just never really developed. But, when we're talking about the fourth downs and going for it there and not kicking
it's who we are.
It's who we are.
Yeah,
it's what got us here. So, you can't really complain about it because, this is who we are. This is what got us here, like I was saying. And, you got to stick to your guns there.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I don't put this on the coaching staff. The coaching staff had us prepped and ready for this one. As you could see at the beginning of the game, we're up 17 points. We're rocking and rolling. It came down to players not making the plays that they've made all year. Reynolds has been Mr. Trusty in all the, big third downs. We need a big touchdown. Reynolds was always that guy for Goff. If it wasn't him, it was Laporte or St. Brown. Just Reynolds decided to pick the worst game to have his worst game of the season. And, his contract's up after this year. Do we hold on to him? Do we not hold on to him? We'll get into that a little bit later. But he also had a big drop on another, 3rd and 10 that really killed momentum, and we had to punt the ball away. So it just little things that cost us this game that we didn't do all year up until this game. And another big fumble by our rookie Gibbs with the misexchange with Goff. That really killed us, because that was right after they were just creeping right back in the game. And I thought if we could, go down there and at least put some points on the board, take some time off the clock, but it was literally one play and we fumbled the ball there. You could tell that either Gibbs was lined up on the wrong side when he handed the ball off, or, Goff gave it to him on the wrong side. It looked like it was Gibbs' fault. I don't know. I haven't got insight into that, but that one really hurt.
Yeah, I mean, it gives San Francisco the ball in our red zone when we're trying to hold on to that lead. It was absolutely killer, but it's tough to blame the rookie halfback on that. Just miscommunication and unfortunate there. I mean, overall, the offense did look pretty solid, especially in the first half. I mean, Goff, I thought, played great, didn't turn over the ball, missed a few throws versus the stingy 49ers defense there, but the offense scored 31 points. That's all you can really ask of them.
Yeah, no, the offense was great. Like you said earlier, Goff was putting the throws exactly where they needed to be. He missed a few. He missed that long one to J-Mo, but also the wide receiver. It was very close. Our wide receivers also missed a lot of, catches too, that he put exactly where they needed to be, where he knew the defender couldn't get them, and he knew only our receiver could get them, and we didn't make the plays.
Yeah, he was dealing again, man. I mean, Goff, we got to start having the conversation. Is he our guy? Because, I mean, I think he might be here, because we're talking about a guy who basically, when he's playing indoors and not in poor weather conditions, which, I mean, I get is tricky, but we do have a dome. I mean, the guy is making all the throws. He's doing the right reads. Like, you can't find a lot of quarterbacks around the league that can throw a better ball than Goff does.
No, and going into next year, we only have 2 outside games. All the rest are inside in domes. We have a game against the Bears that's outside, and then against the Packers that's outside. Every single other game's inside, so that fares well for Goff leading into next year. So, I assume that we'll get a deal done. He definitely deserves an extension, and he's built chemistry with, all these playmakers and St. Brown, J-Mo, Laporta. I don't see us moving on from him, anytime soon.
No, I don't see it either. And the culture's kind of built here at this point.
Jared Goff.
Not even kind of built. This thing is built. Like, the Lions players enjoy playing with each other and for Dan Campbell.
Yep.
And I think that continuity in the team is going to keep most of these guys together next year to try to run it back. But when we're looking at this 49ers game and what the offense was able to do, the other thing we have to look at is we were running the ball all over the 49ers. We ended up rushing for 182 yards. Montgomery ended up having 93 of them. Gibbs had 45, and then J-Mo has 42 of it with just an electric run.
Oh, my God, that was beautiful, man. Just an electrifying run. You could really see his speed on full display with that one. Yeah, when you talking about the running, Montgomery, Gibbs, and J-Mo all had more rushing yards in the first half than McCaffrey and all of San Francisco's team combined.
Pretty crazy. McCaffrey's the best back in the league.
Yeah. Would be MVP if there was no such thing as quarterback. So just a crazy statistic there, all to be definitely changed in that second half.
Yeah, we couldn't really run the ball, but I thought we kind of abandoned it a little bit too much there too. I think we had so much success with it. I would have liked to see us run the football more, but I get it. You got to keep the defense off balance. And in the passing attack, the other thing we got to look at is the weapons. The big weapons helped out Goff pretty good in this game. Laporta with another stellar game, having 9 catches for 97 yards. Basically doing it on one knee here. This guy is just an absolute weapon and a gritty player for us.
Yeah, Laporta played great. You could tell he was playing on one leg, grimacing in pain. He missed that one catch that I think he would have made. It was a little high, but he's been making those catches all year. J-Mo, he made every catch you wanted him to make. These were tough contested catches. The one
that
in the back, the touchdown at the end, the one on the corner where he ripped the ball away from the dude to secure that catch. Jamo's really coming on. He was really coming on towards the end of the year here. He's creating all kinds of space for St. Brown under the middle. And, it really hurt not having Khalif Raymond, too, in this game, because that's another dude under the middle, those big third downs that we could have looked to. But, we were hitting it on all cylinders in the offense in the first half.
Yeah, I feel like Khalif Raymond is one of those security blankets for Goff, too, where he's got really good hands. You know what he's going to do for you. I think that might have played a factor on those fourth downs. St. Brown continues to produce here. 7 receptions for 87 yards, standard procedure for St. Brown there. And then the O-line, man, they were pretty good too. Going up against this great 49ers pass rush, and they were creating a lot of holes in the running game and also keeping Goff upright.
Yeah, I mean, Goff wasn't really getting pressured all that much, and if he was getting rid of the ball, and he didn't have any turnovers. I thought the offensive line played outstanding. The running game was awesome. Blocking down the field was amazing. And this is with one of our best players in Jonah Jackson being out. So, I mean, we did very well on the offensive side of the ball from top to bottom.
Yeah, it's very noticeable how good Penei Sewell is.
Oh, my God.
Like, he neutralized Nick Bosa throughout the entirety of the game for the most part. And Bosa's one of the best pass rushers in the league, easily top 3. And the only sack that he had in the game was against Taylor Decker on the other side. Penei Sewell is absolutely the best tackle, I think, in all of football. And actually, a lot of the PFF grades and ratings would also say the same.
Well, you don't see a lot of tackles lining up in motion. That he's doing that on, a lot of plays for us in the San Francisco game. You don't see tackles doing that. He even thought he was going to get that one thrown to him.
He wanted it so bad.
He was open, but Goff went elsewhere. But that's the special talent that Penny can do. He can line up. He can split outside, man. He can run downfield with the best of them. The dude is just an animal, freak athlete. Pay him now. Give him whatever he wants. He is the best offensive lineman in football besides our center. I mean, those are 1-2 in my opinion.
Ragnow's right up there, but Penny's 1, man. And it's crazy because Penei Sewell is only 23 years old. The Lions got an absolute steal with this guy, getting him basically in the middle of the top 10. I think they got him at pick 7 there. But it's just like this guy, we're talking about a guy, if he continues on this pace and the way that he's moving upward with his gameplay, we might be talking about one of the best offensive linemen of all time.
Yeah, I don't think he's too far off from that. If, he doesn't get hurt and he keeps, trending in this direction, I think that the possibilities are endless for him, and I think he will go down as one of the best offensive linemen and tackles in NFL history.
Just insane. It's awesome to see for the Lions. I mean, also awesome to see this weekend.
Tongue twister there.
Yeah, tongue twister. The defense looked good in that first half.
Yeah.
They stopped the run, which is tough to do against McCaffrey, like you were mentioning. It was good to see right out of the gates there.
Yeah. The defense played really well. The pass rush was, pretty effective. Not as effective as, it had been. We only had 2 sacks in this game. Hutch did not have, a sack this game after having 8 sacks since week 18, but he did bat down 2 passes. What did you think of the linebacker play? I thought they looked pretty damn good.
Linebackers were great. I mean, you talked about it a little bit earlier with the interception from Malcolm Rodriguez. He comes in with the Derek Barnes injury, like you were mentioning, and it was like the Lions didn't skip a beat defensively. Maybe even got better.
Yeah.
Rodriguez was all over the field, comes up with the big turnover for us. Absolutely sticking McCaffrey in the holes, too, when he got a shot.
Yeah, I'd like to see him try to get a bit more incorporated on the defense end and not be such an odd man out next year, because whenever he plays, good things happen.
Yeah, you can see it on the field. I mean, he makes an impact, and it's incredible to watch. I don't think he's a fringe roster guy, and I think he could work his way into the starting rotation. Anzalone also played very well in
on
this
a bum
game.
shoulder.
Bum shoulder. Ended up leading the team in tackles there with 8. Great game from him. And then
Jack Campbell, our rookie, he played lights out again, man.
Continues to be smart on the field. Great awareness. I think, there's a lot to like here with this linebacking core going forward. Secondary, on the other hand.
Secondary is where we're struggling, and we really struggled in the second half. As we mentioned, the Vildor, bouncing off the helmet, you don't see that much. Sutton, he's gotten torched all year by the opposing teams no ones. So we got to shore up. We got to get he's great in zone, not so much man to man, and we play a lot of man to man. So we got to get that straightened out. We got to get a no one quarter, and we have the money to do so.
Yeah. I mean, they got cap space, and I think you're right there. He's a cornerback too. He's not a cornerback one, and he's been really kind of forced into his role all year in the secondary with all the injuries.
So is Vildor. He's a special teams player.
So is Vildor. I mean, the secondary has been banged up all year.
Gardner Johnson only, was in and out of the lineup. So
yeah, I mean, there was just not a lot of consistency there.
No.
Looking at the offseason, we have to dive into it here. There's a lot to like about these Lions going forward. I mean, I think we have to be grateful, too, on this side of things. I know people are disappointed that we don't get to go to the Super Bowl. Obviously, I'm disappointed myself.
Same.
But you cannot be mad about the Lions overachieving this year and what the future lies for us. This team is built with young talent everywhere.
5th youngest team in the league.
5th youngest team in the league, and made it to the NFC title.
And we're only year 3 of the Dan Campbell regimen. And we got some good news today, didn't we, Brian?
Oh, yeah. Our offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, will be returning.
Woo!
He has told the Seattle Seahawks and the Washington Commanders that he is not interested in taking on those head coaching jobs. I mean, this is one of, if not the best offensive coordinator in the entire league. Lions get him back, and it looks like they're getting ready to run this thing back and try to, get back to this point and finish the job.
The job's not done in Detroit. He told Seattle's plane mid-flight, turn it around. I'm staying. I'm not going anywhere. We have something yet left to prove. Keeping this regimen together. Hopefully, we're keeping Aaron Glenn, and that's still, to be determined. But if we can keep, Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson, and Aaron Glenn all together for one more push at this Super Bowl and get that Lombardi, I mean, with this team that we have and a few additions and then getting a few pieces in the draft, I don't see why we can't be right here again next year. I think when Dan Campbell said, hey, this was our best shot, I think he envisioned Ben Johnson leaving when he made those comments.
Totally agree.
And now with him staying, a lot's going to change, and we're only going to get that much better. The players are going to get that much better playing under Ben Johnson for another year. They're comfortable with him. This isn't going to hurt anyone's development. This is huge for the Lions. It's huge.
Yeah, it brings us back to, being a serious contender to win the NFC.
Yep.
They would have took a step back. There would have been a lot of question marks.
Losing Ben Johnson.
Yeah,
look what happened with Philly losing their offense coordinator. They aren't the same offensive team.
Yeah, Shane Steichen over there. And he was close to winning Coach of the Year there for the Indianapolis Colts.
So
I mean, it makes a huge factor. Also, which is going to make a huge factor for us here is this offseason and potentially re-signing some of these top young talents that we have. I mean, I know St. Brown's contract runs out next year.
Yep.
Aiden Hutchinson's contract will run out 2 years from now.
We already mentioned Penny.
Penny Sewell's contract running out actually next year too. Penny Sewell can basically, get a blank check.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is a must keep. And then Goff, we have to re-sign him here in the offseason. And then Ali McNeil is also a name to look at here in the next couple years. They got to get these guys re-signed, keep this young core together. But, man, there are a lot of young pieces here.
Yeah, a lot of young pieces. And, we have a lot of money to do, what we want with, because none of these guys that we just mentioned, St. Brown, the Hutch, the Sewell, Goff is the only one who's on an expiring contract that we got to figure out. So we have, options money-wise to do what we want to do, and I hope we keep the nucleus together. They want to play in Detroit, and I'd like to keep them around in Detroit.
Yeah, I agree. I think Jared Goff has earned the right to be this quarterback going forward. I think this team is really come together, and I think getting rid of your leader in Jared Goff would be a step back for us. I thought the guy played great late in the season. He made all the throws we needed him to there in the playoffs. And when you're looking around the league, who can throw a better ball than this guy? I mean, obviously Mahomes, you got some of these big names, but Goff's probably in the top 10.
Yeah, no, he's definitely in the top 10. He can make every throw if we give him time.
He sets his feet.
If he sets his feet, watch out. He can make any throw. So I think we'll sure him up. Hooker will continue to learn under him. I am excited to see what Hooker can do in the preseason with extending plays and whatnot, and see, how he's come back from that ACL, but he's going to be our no-2 going into next year. So it's, all good things, moving forward for us.
Yeah, a lot to look forward to with what we currently have on the roster. When we're looking into free agents and draft here for us in the offseason, you mentioned we do have some cap space. We can work around and add some pieces here. One thing that we do have to look at is, I know Frank Ragnow is kind of on the fringe of potentially retirement. He's been dealing with injuries here the last few years, and he's just saying, I got to do what's best for my family.
Yep.
I don't know what that means for us.
He's a warrior.
And I think, if Ben Johnson's back, that might play an influence here where he's like, hey, we can run it back again. But I know he's kind of on the fringe there.
Yeah, that toe's inoperable. He can't practice on a full week with, that toe. And, now he has the knee injuries. He's pretty banged up this year. He's been fighting through it his whole career. So I don't blame, the guy for thinking this way in the slightest. If he, does choose to hang it up, that's fine. You got to do what's best for, your personal and family life. But then, we got to look at signing Graham Glasgow to an extension. He's a Michigan man. I'd love to have him back. We might have to filter him into center.
Versatile, though.
Yeah, versatile. He can play, tackle or center. So that's a big guy to look at too. So hopefully we take care of that. But I'd hate to lose Ragnow, because when he is out there on one leg, two legs, he's one of the best to do it.
I mean, we mentioned it in last week's episode.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell said this is the best center in the league. I mean, it would suck to lose him. Obviously, if we lose him, like you were mentioning, Glasgow might be moving over to center, but they'd have to look into some free agents there to potentially replace him.
Yep.
The other thing I have to look at in free agency is we have to get some help in this secondary.
Absolutely, man.
The money to spend it. I'm looking at the pipe dream, obviously, of getting this guy, because he's going to have a huge market with him being one of the best corners in the league this year. Ladarius Sneed out of Kansas City is no joke.
Hell no, he's not.
Completely locking down half the field for Kansas City this year. I think that would be a great addition to this defense.
I'd love that.
The other thing we got to look at is maybe getting another interior pass rusher.
Yep.
Pascal looked good late, so I think Pascal is going to have a say in this.
And the jury's still out on Houston. We didn't get to see much of him this year, if at all, basically. And you can't give him a fair shake coming back from a broken ankle, and then going up against the best left tackle in all of football.
Yeah, Trent Williams is a problem.
Yeah.
He's always has been. But yeah, I don't think you can judge Houston by that. And I think you got to look at Pascal being at least a rotational piece here going forward.
Yep.
The question becomes, do they want to add another significant pass rusher? When I'm looking at a pipe dream over there, I'm looking at Justin Matabuke out of Baltimore. He's just been an absolute stud for him this year.
Yep.
Posting over 10 sacks. I think he would be a great piece. He can go inside or outside. But secondary and defense have to be the focal point.
I think defense altogether needs to be the focal point. We've mentioned, we're firing on all cylinders on the offensive end. We don't need too many needs on the offensive end. We got to shore up the offensive line, make sure, that's taken care of with Jonah Jackson, being out, the possibility of Ragnow, and then Graham Glasgow. So we sure up the offensive line. We're fine at all the other skilled positions, but pass rush, secondary, cornerback, that's where we need to, address in this offseason. And I know he had a good ending of the season, but I'm still not sold on our kicking situation. Bagley, you're always getting a little nervous if it's longer than 54 yards. So, but with that said,
all things to look at, dude. But then the other side of it too, when you're looking at it, is we're not even mentioning what we could be doing in the draft.
That's true.
We do have 4 picks in the top 3 rounds. We're going to have some flexibility to potentially move around there and add a piece. I think, you get a good shot at getting a corner maybe there too.
Yep.
Maybe a pass rusher there. There's a lot of talent obviously coming out of the college football. And when you look at it historically here in the last 10 years, most of these guys who are entering into the league are ready to go right out of the gates. I mean,
well, look at our rookie class this year. That they were ready to go all right. And Holmes has been known to make little noise in the draft, and it's in Detroit.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, that's something we got to look at too. But we got the ability to make some moves in free agency and in the draft. There's a lot to look forward here, man.
Yeah,
look forward to here.
I think we're building a dynasty here, BK. We got a young nucleus of extremely skilled players. We got an excellent, coach at the helm, excellent GM, excellent ownership, and Sheila Ford. It's just everything is trending in the right direction for us to continue this momentum and, hopefully host that Lombardi Trophy.
Yeah, it's refreshing.
Yeah.
Because this has been a long time coming, and finally it looks like we have the structure and the pieces in place in order to do this. But with that being said, thank you for joining us this year on this podcast.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you all listening. We'll be back here in couple months here.
March, April, we'll get the draft going like we did this year. What a fun year to start this thing, BK.
Yeah, for real, man. And we'll dive into some of those draft prospects like Jesse was talking about, kind of get our mock drafts down again. But thanks again, and till next time.
Till next time, go Lions, restore the roar. It hasn't been fully restored. We're almost there, baby.
We're back.
We're back.